Even though 2020 has been a crazy year, VR has grown a ton in these past few months. With the release of dozens of new games and experiences, the release of the Oculus Quest 2, and various other advancements in hardware and content, VR is growing more than ever. VR gives us the ability to go anywhere or do whatever we want, and in a year where people have been isolated at home, the idea of VR is even more enticing. As for the PlayStation side of VR, I keep hearing more and more that people believe PSVR has been dying out this year. But if you take a look back at the content, you might think otherwise. While we don't have a new PSVR headset just yet, the amount of amazing games and experiences we've received through PSVR this year is incredible. So like I do every year, I'll be going over my top 10 favorite PSVR games of the year. So let's get into it. I really thought about whether or not I should put Paperbeast on this list. It has some annoying puzzles, drawn out moments, forced click turning and teleportation, and a few other issues. But in the end, Paperbeast really stuck with me because of its amazing soundtrack, unique puzzles, beautiful visuals, and creativity. To break Paperbeast down to its core, it's just a simple puzzle game involving interaction with paper creatures in the environment. But when looking beyond the gameplay, it has a strange story and contains some of the most amazing VR moments I've ever experienced. While this game might not be worth it at full price, if you can get it on sale, I'd highly recommend it if you want a truly unique VR experience. Escape room games are some of the best games you can play in VR, and the Room VR: A Dark Matter is one of the best examples of that. This game is part of the Room series that gained its popularity on mobile devices, and taking this series to virtual reality was a great next step. In this game, you'll be put into several different escape rooms in which you'll have to investigate clues and solve puzzles to proceed. The puzzle designs are some of the best in VR, and it's a game that I thoroughly enjoyed from start to finish. Shadow Legend has you on an epic quest to put an end to war. The story isn't anything too special, but where Shadow Legend really shines is with its world and gameplay. Throughout the game, you'll visit several different unique environments, finding new items, weapons, and enemies to slay. Shadow Legend is a great example of how to make a world feel alive and exciting, and it's an adventure I'll never forget. Crisis Brigade 2 is a sequel that delivers in every way and completely overshadows the first game. If you don't already know, Crisis Brigade 2 is an action game that's reminiscent of games like Time Crisis. This game brings fast-paced shootouts where you'll have to take advantage of your environment to proceed. The gameplay is awesome, with there being a wide variety of guns, abilities, enemies, and levels to play. It's a fairly difficult game, but whenever you finish a level, it's a feeling like no other, and it's one of my favorite games this year. Iron Man VR is a fun, but flawed game. It nails the feeling of being Iron Man with fun and satisfying flight and combat mechanics, but the game is brought down by some long loading times that luckily have been improved slightly, dated objectives, and a few inconsistencies with the environments. But despite its issues, what's here is still a ton of fun. There's a decent story, cool environments and set pieces, fast-paced and satisfying gameplay, and more. If being Iron Man VR sounds fun to you, then definitely still check out Iron Man VR. Star Wars Squadrons came out of nowhere. Nobody expected EA to suddenly announce a Star Wars cockpit game completely playable in VR. This game immediately became most people's most anticipated PSVR game, and it didn't disappoint. Star Wars Squadrons brings an exciting multi-hour campaign and a fun and challenging online multiplayer side of the game, and when playing with the HOTAS 4 flight stick, this game is a blast. Until You Fall was a surprise hit for me this year. I knew I'd enjoy it from the trailers, but I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. Until You Fall is a roguelite where the goal is to slay beasts that take over the land. This game has some of the best combat mechanics for any PSVR game, with fluid dodging, blocking, and attacking. It's extremely addicting going back over and over until you defeat each boss. But even when you do fail, you're rewarded with currency to buy permanent upgrades. Until You Fall is an incredible game and is a must-have for the headset. These top 3 PSVR games for this year are pretty interchangeable, but at number 3 I decided to put Minecraft. Minecraft is a game with endless possibilities. Whether you're playing survival or creative mode, you can do whatever you want. There's tons of biomes to explore, multiple dimensions to travel to, dozens of creatures and ores to find, and the option to play with friends. And putting Minecraft into VR only makes the experience more relaxing and enjoyable. This could easily be my game of the year, but it's held back by some annoying glitches and noticeable limitations when comparing it to the PC version of the game. A game that has performed extremely well on every platform it comes to is The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners. This game nails a great post-apocalyptic world with tons of story missions to complete, and the combat is some of the most intense and satisfying you can find on PSVR, especially when using the melee weapons. Saints and Sinners has fantastic gameplay, story, UI, and environments to explore, and is a must-have whether you're a Walking Dead fan or not. Before we get to the number 1 PSVR game, I'd first like to go over some awesome PSVR games that didn't quite make the list. Final Assault, Pixel Rip 1995, Sharknado Nah, I'm just kidding, that game is awful. Swordsman VR, and Budget Cuts. And my number 1 PSVR game of the year is Dreams. At this point, Dreams is more of a game engine than an actual game, which is extremely impressive. You're able to make whatever game you want, with the only limitation being your ability to use the tools given to you. There's a ton of in-game tutorials that explain everything in great detail. And if you're not the creative type, you can head on over to the community shared creations where you can play hundreds upon hundreds of games made by Dreams users. Here you'll find some jaw-dropping creations that make you forget you're playing Dreams. Dreams is a technical achievement and is something I'll continue to enjoy for many years to come. So those were my top 10 PSVR games of 2020. It's been a fantastic year for PSVR, and I can't wait to see what 2021 has to offer. Since this is a very subjective list, I'd love to hear about what your favorite games of the year are in the comments. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the most disappointing PSVR games of 2020 coming soon.